This is Daniel Simon at Baton Rouge Community College, and this week I'll have another preview for the History 1123 online course. I'll be wrapping up weeks 12 through 16 to the end of the semester. So I'll kind of go through what assignments are out there for students to kind of wrap up on for the semester. If you look at modules right now, you can see week 12. We do have that lecture on the rise of fascism between world wars, talking about the rise of like Hitler and Mussolini in Europe, which leads to really the World War II breaking out in Europe, 1939. So I talk about that. This lecture, of course, will be assessed on the upcoming final exam, which I will be posting early in week 13, which will combine the rise of fascism in World War II as well. So that's kind of a short lecture. And then, of course, the two lectures below are more, has more information, of course, covering really the outbreak of World War II up to the end of it in 1945. So if you look at into week 13 as well, which is right, so you can see the World War II lectures are in two parts. Part one kind of goes up to the beginning of like the outbreak of World War II, and it goes up to around, I guess, when the United States comes into World War II. And then the rest of it goes up to the end of World War II, discussing like how Nazi Germany lost World War II by 1945. And then I do go into the Pacific conflict between the United States and Japan as well. So, like I said, these lectures will be assessed on the final exam, which you see below right here. If you do have any questions or comments about these lectures, don't forget you can earn bonus points during the semester for discussion, questions or comments whenever you want. Usually in the second half of the semester, we don't really do as much into that because I know you've got a lot of assignments that are out there right now. You've got to wrap up on. But that's going to be, of course, the main assessment I'll have at the end of the semester. Some students will be exempt from the final exam. I'll send out announcements and emails about that issue. But usually students that have a 96% or higher average in the semester are exempt from taking the final. You do have to turn in a lot of your assignments that are left over at the end of the semester, which I'll send out what those are, of course, in various announcements and also emails I have later as well. Also, if you move down in modules to week 14, you'll also see I have another final I'll have, which is for extra credit, which will be on the Cold War era, parts 1 and 2. This goes into the post-World War II era. After World War II, part 1 and 2 you see there. And that assessment will be due at the end of the semester. That's going to be an assignment you can earn a lot of extra points for, 60 bonus points, which can help increase your average in the course. So do check that assignment out. It's not a mandatory assignment in the semester I usually have, but most students do try to attempt it, usually. So that's kind of the two assessments I have at the end of the semester that I've got upcoming and I'll be sending out by weeks, 13, 14, right there. Now, there are other assignments that we need to kind of also talk about at the end of the semester. Don't forget, you do have those vocabulary assignments that you have to turn in for my course, at least the first three. First, second, and third key terms do have to be turned in by final exam week. I've told students before that you can turn them in for extra credit. So you can get, like I said, plus 10% bonus for turning it in early. You don't have to turn the final one in, but you can turn that in for extra credit too. I think it's like 10 bonus points or something like that. But make sure you do cite your sources that you use, to look up these vocabulary terms for these assignments. But if you're going to be exempt from the final, you do have to turn in the vocabulary assignments, except for the final one. Of course, the big assignment that we need to talk about too is the book report and review research paper. Just want to remind students about that. That's, of course, a major project for the semester. If you still haven't let me know like what book title you're reading for the semester, do let me know about that via email, as I've talked about before, several times. Make sure you do follow the guidelines I've got listed here in Canvas assignments. There is, of course, a list of books that you, of course, could have picked. So, do stick to the actual book list that I did give you. And don't forget, there is a writing rubric right here for that actual assignment as well. I know the assignment does have to have, a standard cover page to it. Make sure it does have a work citation of the book you read. I think the minimum is, I guess, close to 3 pages. Double space is usually a good average, but I am going to be looking for whether, you actually did read the book. So I don't want to see any kind of plagiarism issues with the actual assignment. I will be checking for that, and I will be checking for AI also as well. So make sure you don't use, AI to try to write the paper, because I will be checking on that probably before I grade it. I'll check that first before anything. So there is a deal where you can substitute it. I think I talked about the Veterans Project, I think, is a option for that. But like I said, it is a mandatory assignment that you do have to turn in, especially if you're going to be exempt from the final. You got to turn that in. Also, don't forget, you have the study guides you can turn in for extra credit. I think there's, each study guide for each quiz exam that I've got for the first exam, second exam, and final exam that I've got listed here. I think if you turn it in early before final exam week, you can get 10 bonus points extra for it. So I guess the most you can earn is, I guess, an extra 120 bonus points for those assignments. They're not mandatory, so you don't have to turn them in. But these are study guides to help you out, with all the different assessments like the quizzes and exams we've had, throughout the whole semester in the fall. So that's just kind of talking about that. And I do have one more assignment to talk about too, the Veterans Oral History Project. If any students still doing that, that's going to be due by the end of final exam week as well. So I think it does have a minimum 10-minute interview should be for that project. It can be either a audio interview or also a video interview, which video interviews are preferred. But the veteran doesn't have to be in an actual war. Like, just could have been like in the military. I think those are the common years you'll get usually will be, during the Cold War era, probably up to the Persian Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan conflicts will be pretty much the veterans that you'll probably encounter. Don't forget, you can also, have someone interview yourself if you're a veteran also as well. So kind of talking about some of the different assignments that are out there that are due at the end of the semester. Finals are coming pretty quick in a few weeks. You need to try to wrap up assignments. I know right now, y'all should be trying to, I guess, get towards Canvas quiz number 5 before, working on the final exam or either that or the bonus one, the final exam bonus quiz as well. Any kind of extra credit, you want to try to, get as much as points as well, to try to increase your average in the course. We'll be looking at averages at the end of the semester. If you're close to a, letter grade, like say if you have a close to a B, 78% or something like that, I probably will round it up and things like that. But anyway, if you have any comments, questions about the course, do let me know at the end of the semester. I know everybody will be working to try to wrap up the course as soon as possible. But like I said, that book report, that's a major project you need to kind of work on and try to wrap up for the end of the semester. So that's going to be it for this preview video. Like I said, if you have any comments, questions, they got discussions. If you want to earn some points there, if you got a question about the course, You can also email me as well. So everybody, I want you to take care, and I'll see you, of course, off and on later throughout the semester. So I'll see you later.